The forest was dying. Not in the way trees fall or rivers stop, but slowly, quietly, under the weight of winter. Snow fell without mercy. It had been falling for 7 days. The sky hung low and gray, pressing down on the earth like a heavy hand. The wind moved through the pines with a sound like distant weeping. Everything was white. Everything was cold. Everything was silent. And in that silence, the week did not last long. A fawn stood alone at the edge of a frozen lake. Its legs trembled. Not from cold. From hunger. The small creature had been separated from its mother 3 days ago. A blizzard had torn through the forest with the fury of a living thing, scattering the herd in all directions. Mothers lost their young. The young lost each other. Chaos had reigned. Now the fawn was lost. Starving. Alone. Its brown coat, once sleek and spotted, now hung loose against its shrinking frame. Its ribs pressed against its skin like the bars of a cage. Each breath came shallow and weak, a small cloud of vapor that disappeared into the freezing air. The lake stretched before it, vast, white, unforgiving. A flat expanse of ice that reflected nothing. The fawn had come here searching for water, for food, for anything. But there was nothing. Only ice. Only emptiness. Behind it, the forest was dark. The trees stood like silent sentinels, their branches heavy with snow. Shadows moved between them. Or perhaps it was only the wind. And somewhere in those shadows, something was watching. He had been called many names by those who feared him. Ghost, shadow, hunter, demon of the north. But he had no name. Only instinct. Only survival. The lone wolf stood on a ridge above the frozen lake. His position gave him a view of everything. The ice below, the forest behind, the mountains beyond. His gray fur blended perfectly with the falling snow. In this light, he was almost invisible. A spirit made flesh. His amber eyes, sharp and ancient, watched the small fawn below with the intensity of a creature who had known hunger all his life. He had not eaten in 5 days. 5 days of hunting through snow that came up to his chest. 5 days of tracking prey that moved too fast or disappeared into the white. 5 days of watching his strength slowly drain away. Winter was cruel. But it was cruelest to predators. The wolf's ribs were visible beneath his thick coat. His muscles, though still strong, had begun to ache with a deep, persistent pain. The hunger gnawed at him constantly. It was not a sharp pain. It was worse. A hollow emptiness that made every movement heavy. Every breath an effort. He had once been part of a pack. 5 years ago. Before the harsh winter that killed his alpha. Before the disease that took his mate. Before the forest changed and the prey became scarce. Now he was alone. As he had been for 3 years. Alone was harder. Alone meant every kill was a struggle. Every meal was earned through blood and exhaustion. Alone meant that one injury could mean death. But alone also meant freedom. No hierarchy. No sharing. No weakness. And now, prey stood before him. Easy. Weak. Alone. The wolf's body tensed. His muscles coiled beneath his fur. His instincts screamed at him with the voice of 10,000 years of evolution. This was survival. This was nature. This was the law of the wild. Take, eat, live. But he did not move. Something held him there. On the ridge. Watching. Waiting. The fawn took a step toward the frozen lake. Its hoof pressed against the ice. Then another step. It was searching desperately for water. For anything edible. For a miracle. Its spotted coat trembled with each movement. Its dark eyes were glassy. Unfocused. The eyes of something that had given up hope but not yet given up the instinct to survive. But the ice was thin near the edges where the water still moved beneath. The lake had frozen from the outside in, and near the shore, the ice was treacherous. Deceptive. Deadly. One wrong step, and the forest would claim another life. The wolf descended the ridge slowly. Silently. Each paw pressed into the snow without sound. He had learned long ago to move like water. Like wind. His massive weight distributed carefully with each step. The snow compressed beneath him but did not crunch. Did not betray. His breath formed small clouds in the frozen air. His eyes never left the fawn. He calculated distance. Wind direction. Approach angle. All the mathematics of the hunt. The young deer sensed something. Animals always did. Some deep instinct that lived in the blood. The awareness of being watched, being hunted. Its ears flicked. Its head turned slowly. And then it saw him. The wolf. The predator. Death itself walking through the snow. The fawn froze. Every muscle locked. Terror filled its dark eyes until they were wide and white-rimmed. It wanted to run. Every fiber of its being screamed to run. But its legs were too weak. They had been weak for days. Now they were barely enough to hold it upright. It stumbled backward, away from the approaching wolf. Toward the lake. Toward the ice. The ice cracked beneath its hoof. A sound like a gunshot in the silence. Sharp. Final. The wolf stopped. For a long moment, predator and prey stared at one another across the snow. Two creatures at opposite ends of nature's design. Two beings locked in the oldest dance in the world. Time seemed to slow. The snowflakes hung in the air between them. The wind held its breath. The fawn's breathing quickened. Each exhale came fast and panicked. It tried to step back onto solid ground, but the ice groaned beneath its weight. Cracks spider-webbed across the surface, spreading outward like dark veins. If the fawn fell through, it would die. Not from drowning. The water was not deep here, but from the cold. The shock would seize its small body. Its muscles would fail. It would die of exhaustion trying to climb out. Or hypothermia would take it within minutes. Either way, death would come. The wolf watched. His hunter's mind calculating. Analyzing. He could wait. Be patient. Let the ice do what nature intended. When the fawn fell through, it would thrash. Panic. Exhaust itself further. Then the wolf could approach. Claim what remained. An easy meal. No chase required. But something stopped him. Perhaps it was the fawn's eyes. Wide. Innocent. Terrified. Looking at him not with the calculating fear of a worthy opponent, but with the simple, uncomprehending terror of a child. Perhaps it was the way it trembled. Not just from fear, but from the same hunger that hollowed the wolf's own belly. The same exhaustion that made his own legs ache. The same desperation that came from days without food. They were not so different. Predator and prey. Both victims of winter. Both struggling to survive in a world that offered no guarantees. Or perhaps, it was something deeper. Something older than instinct. Something that lived beyond the simple mathematics of survival. Mercy. A choice that defied nature. That defied logic. The choice to see suffering and choose not to add to it. The wolf moved forward. Not as a hunter, but as something else. Something without a name. He circled slowly to the side, keeping his distance. The fawn watched him, body rigid, ready to bolt. But it had nowhere to go. Behind it was the ice. Before it was the wolf. On either side, more forest. More snow. More cold. It was trapped. The wolf growled. Not a threat. A warning. Deep. Resonant. The sound rolled across the snow like distant thunder. He stepped toward the forest, away from the lake. Then looked back. His amber eyes locked onto the fawn. The fawn did not understand. It only knew fear. Only knew that the predator was moving. That death was approaching. The wolf growled again. Louder this time. He pawed at the snow with his front leg, throwing up a spray of white. Then turned toward the trees. Took 3 deliberate steps. Stopped. Looked back again. The message was clear. Follow. Move. This way. Finally, the fawn understood. Some instinct deeper than fear. Some survival mechanism that recognized help even from an enemy. It took one shaky step forward. Away from the ice. Towards solid ground. Its legs nearly buckled. But it held. The wolf waited. Patient. Unmoving. Step by step, the fawn moved toward safety. Its hooves found purchase in the deep snow. Each movement was agony. Each step took all its remaining strength. But it kept moving. When the fawn finally reached the snowy bank, its legs gave out. It collapsed into the snow, sides heaving. Exhausted beyond measure, the wolf approached. Slowly, carefully, his paws making soft depressions in the snow. The fawn's body tensed. This was it. The end. The trap. The predator had herded it away from the ice only to kill it here. On solid ground where there would be no escape. No hope. Its dark eyes closed. It had no strength left to resist. But the wolf did not attack. Instead, he lay down. several feet away. Close enough to reach if he wanted, far enough to not seem like an immediate threat. He simply watched, his amber eyes calm, steady, guarding. The afternoon faded into evening. The sun, hidden behind gray clouds all day, began its descent. The light changed from gray to darker gray. Shadows stretched across the snow. The temperature dropped. In winter, night was the true enemy. The cold that could be tolerated during the day became lethal after dark. The temperatures that merely discomfort became killers. The fawn curled into itself as tightly as possible, trying to conserve warmth, trying to make itself small. Its breath came in small, rapid puffs. Its body shivered constantly. It was dying, slowly, the cold and hunger working together to shut down its small body system by system. The wolf watched. He could smell death approaching. He had smelled it many times before. On prey, on packmates, on rivals. He could leave, should leave. This was not his responsibility. The fawn would die whether he stayed or not. And his presence here was costing him energy, warmth, time he could be using to hunt. But he did not leave. Night fell over the forest like a heavy curtain. The temperature dropped further. The wind picked up, howling through the trees with a sound like voices. Lonely voices crying in the darkness. The snow continued to fall. Thick flakes that seemed to absorb all sound, all light, all hope. The fawn's shivering intensified. Its small body was burning through what little energy it had left just trying to stay warm. It would not survive the night. Could not survive it. The wolf rose. His joints were stiff from sitting in the cold. His own body protesting. But he ignored the discomfort. He moved closer. Not stalking. Just closer. He settled down again, this time near the fawn. Close enough that his body blocked the worst of the wind. His thick winter coat, designed by millions of years of evolution to survive these exact conditions, radiated what little warmth he had. The fawn's shivering slowed. Not stopped, but slowed. For the first time in 3 days, it felt something other than cold and fear. It felt safe. A concept it shouldn't understand. Not from a wolf. Not from a predator. But somehow it did. The wolf's warmth seeped into the small body curled beside him. His presence, solid and real, cut the wind that would have stolen the last of the fawn's heat. And together, predator and prey settled in to wait for dawn. The night stretched on. Long, dark, cold. The forest came alive with sounds. Distant howls of other wolves, far to the north. The crack of branches breaking under the weight of snow. The rustle of something moving through the darkness. Hunting. Always hunting. The wolf's ears swiveled constantly, tracking every sound. His eyes scanned the darkness, seeing what human eyes could not. Movement. Shapes. Threats. He did not sleep. Could not sleep. To sleep was to risk everything. The fawn's life, and his own. His stomach cramped with hunger. The pain was constant now. A deep ache that made him want to curl up. Give in. But he remained alert. Watching. And then, from the shadows, eyes appeared. 2 pairs. Glowing green in the darkness. Reflecting the moonlight that filtered through the clouds. Coyotes. 2 of them emerged from the tree line. Lean. Desperate. Hungry. Their ribs showed through their mangy coats. Their lips pulled back to reveal yellowed teeth. They had smelled the fawn. Easy prey. Weak prey. The kind of meal that didn't fight back. They moved forward slowly, low to the ground. Cautious but determined. Their paws made soft sounds in the snow. The wolf stood. His movement was fluid. Instant. One moment lying down, the next on his feet. His body positioned itself between the coyotes and the fawn. A living wall. His hackles rose. The fur along his spine stood straight up, making him look even larger. Even more dangerous. His lips pulled back to reveal long white fangs. But he did not growl. He did not snarl. He simply stood. A wall of muscle and will. His amber eyes locked onto the coyotes with an intensity that needed no sound. The message was clear. Turn back. Leave. This is not your kill. The coyotes hesitated. They were hungry. Desperate. But they were not stupid. A lone wolf was still a wolf. Larger. Stronger. More dangerous than both of them combined. And this wolf was not weak. Not yet. His stance was solid. His eyes clear. This was not a fight they could win without injury. And injury in winter meant death. The larger of the two coyotes took a step back. Then another. His companion followed. Both of them staring at the wolf, weighing options, calculating odds. Finally, they turned. One by one, they melted back into the forest, swallowed by darkness and snow. But the wolf remained standing, watching, waiting. He stood there for long minutes, ensuring they were truly gone, that they would not circle back, would not try again. When the forest grew silent again, when he was certain they had moved on to easier prey, he lay back down, closer to the fawn than before, protecting it with his presence, his scent, his reputation. The fawn, still too weak to move, watched him with wide eyes. Something had changed. The fear was still there. Instinct could not be erased in a single night. But something else had been added. Trust. A tiny seed of it, growing in the darkness. The night was long, the coldest of the winter. The wind howled. The snow fell. The darkness pressed in from all sides. But the wolf did not move, did not abandon his post. His stomach cramped with hunger. His body ached from cold. His joints stiffened. His muscles burned. But he did not move. He had made a choice, and he would see it through, because that was what it meant to be strong. Not the ability to kill, not the power to take what you wanted, but the strength to protect, to sacrifice, to choose mercy when nature offered none. The fawn slept. Finally, its small body relaxed against the snow, warmed by the wolf's presence. Its breathing steady, peaceful, and the wolf watched over it, a silent guardian in the darkness. Dawn came slowly. The sky lightened from black to deep blue to pale gray. The snow had stopped sometime in the night. The clouds began to break apart, revealing glimpses of pink and gold. The forest was transformed. Everything covered in fresh snow, pure white, untouched, beautiful and deadly in equal measure. The fawn stirred. It lifted its head slowly, blinking against the light. Confused, disoriented. It was alive. Somehow, against all odds, the wolf was already standing, watching the trees, alert, guarding until the last possible moment. And then, from deep within the forest, came a sound. A call, low and familiar, the sound of a mother searching for her lost child. The fawn's ears perked. Its body trembled, not from cold this time, but from hope, a feeling it had forgotten. The call came again, closer, more urgent. A doe emerged from the tree line. The fawn's mother. Her coat was matted with snow, her eyes wild with desperation. She had been searching, all night, through the storm, through the cold, never giving up, never stopping. The fawn tried to stand. Its legs shook violently, weak from hunger and cold. But it managed to rise. Barely. The doe saw her fawn. Relief flooded her eyes. A mother's joy. A mother's love. But then she saw the wolf. She froze. Her body went rigid. Every muscle tensed. Her eyes locked onto the predator standing beside her child. This was wrong. Unnatural. Predators did not stand beside prey. They attacked. They killed. They consumed. But this wolf stood still. Calm. His posture was not aggressive. Not hunting. Just present. The doe's instincts screamed at her. Run. Fight. Protect. But her child was too weak to run. Too weak to defend. She took a step forward. Ready to charge if necessary. Ready to give her life to save her fawns. But the wolf did not move toward them. Instead, he took a step back. Then another. Creating distance. Removing threat. The fawn looked at him. One last time. Those wide, innocent eyes meeting the ancient gaze of the wolf who had saved its life. For a moment, predator and prey simply looked at one another. An understanding passing between them. Beyond words. Beyond species. A recognition of something sacred. Then the fawn moved toward its mother. Slow. Shaky. But alive. The doe nuzzled her fawn frantically, checking for injuries. For blood. For wounds. Finding none, she pressed close, sharing her warmth, her strength. But before disappearing into the trees, the doe looked back. At the wolf. The predator who should have killed her child. Who could have. Who had every reason to, but didn't. The wolf watched them go, his amber eyes steady, knowing, when they were gone, when the forest had swallowed them whole, the wolf turned away. He walked slowly across the snowy clearing, toward the distant mountains. His paws left deep prints in the fresh snow, each step deliberate, measured. He was still hungry, hungrier now than before, his body weak from a night without sleep, without food, without rest. He was still alone, still a predator in a world that offered no mercy, still facing a long winter with no guarantee of survival. But for one night, he had been something else. Not a hunter, not a killer, not the demon of the north. A guardian, a protector, a creature capable of mercy in a merciless world. And perhaps that was enough. Perhaps that was everything. The wind carried the wolf's scent away. The snow began to fall again, gentle now, covering his tracks, erasing his presence. Soon, it would be as if he had never been there at all. No witnesses would tell his story. No reward waited for his choice. No recognition for his sacrifice. The world would not remember what he had done, would not know that mercy had lived in the heart of a predator. But in the heart of one small fawn, somewhere in the depths of the forest, the memory remained. Not of fear, not of death, but of mercy. And mercy, once given, is never truly forgotten. Strength is not measured in the taking of life, but in the courage to spare it.